Come on, baby. Okay, here we are on Queen Street West in the heart of Toronto. Hi, guys. So I'm going to sit here and talk to you about stuff that's not necessarily happening on the screen. And I didn't write anything, not out of laziness. I just thought it was time for me to just chill and talk to you guys. Right, Ernie? Right? Give me 10. Yes. Okay. You're so cute. Now he expects a treat. What's that? Luckily, he's got the memory of a goldfish. You're so cute. Oh, my God. So this dog is such a distraction. Did you just hear his ears when he did that full head shake? Yeah, it's pretty beautiful. So when I went out skating... Okay, I'm going to stop looking at the camera. I'm going to shut the camera down, and then we'll just cut to my skating. So for the first half of my skate today, which isn't on camera, I swear I was skating around with a smile on my face. I kept having to remind myself not to have a big goofy grin everywhere I went. I felt really good on my skates today, and that's because I took a whole week off. This year I've been skating more than in probably any other year since the 90s. So when last week I only had like one small session in the garage for like 30 minutes, I did feel myself missing Inline. But I didn't know how much I missed it till I put my skates on and I was flying down the road. It was just an unbelievable experience to be out and free in the fresh air and breathing coolness into my lungs. I felt like I'd been scrubbed clean, like I pulled off this old wrinkly cocoon that I was sitting in, festering in my apartment, and I was born anew. Well, essentially I was. All that blood flowed to my brain and my muscles and skin. It's bound to do something to me for a few days. So yes, it was a very smiley skate. It was ridiculous. Not my usual resting bill face. So my backward skating. People were asking about that, and I still play around with the backward skating. But what I found in the city lately is it just feels like such an indulgence. And it feels like it's something that could actually put my forward skating at risk. Oh, he's digging on the couch now. So I might have to put him in jail. So yeah, backward skating. So I found a few things out about backward skating. I'll do a whole thing about it down the road, but what I found was the techniques that people are teaching online are situational. So the times that you do C-carves are very specific. The times to do a crossover to speed up are quite specific. Quite early in a sprint, it's good to do crossovers. But I also found that there's no real right way for many things in backward skating. I think there's no real way to plainly skate backwards. Nobody has the right answer. I once knew this guy at the Hyde Park skates back in 2000, 2001 that skated backwards so quickly it was work to keep up to him forward. And it was a weird, big, lopey crossover thing that he was doing non-stop. This big, shallow but long crossover, which I never really got to understand. But I saw him once skating along behind a speed skating pack at their exact same pace, but he was going backwards. He was very competent. He was doing it on city streets. So I know it can be done, but I also wonder why. So I guess my main point about backwards skating right now, or the way I'm thinking about it right now, it's still a real ego point for me to make sure I can skate backwards like a crazy person. I love doing it. It's fun. But in the city, I'm finding that it's almost a silly thing to do. Why would I travel around on skates as a lesser skater? Less visual acuity, less ability to respond, my core that's a little bit twisted because I'm looking behind myself. It's just not anatomically a good position for ripping it up. It's a parlor trick. A cool one. It's like a basketball player who can spin a ball on his finger. I think you have to be able to spin a ball on your finger to play in the NBA. But you don't see it a lot in a real game. Not often. But I do like skating fakie. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be calling it fakie. Okay, I'm going to shut up. I love aggressive skating. Our inline terminology's fucked. Oh, yeah. Inline terminology. People are talking a lot about what we should call skating. And I've thought about this a lot in my life. And I don't mind rollerblading. It's cool. Sounds a little bit childish, like wheelie booting or something. And it is a brand. But it's got the word blading in it. And that part's cool. So inline skating, that sounds kind of sterile, like we're conformists who are skating all the same. Still, though, it's fine. It's what it is. So that's definitely what we should be calling it. But I'm more inclined to just call it skating and let the other sports differentiate themselves. Like roller skaters can call themselves roller skaters. Ice skaters can call themselves ice skaters. Skateboarders can go to hell. I mean, skateboarders can call themselves boarders. And we are the skaters. That was actually part of my original mission plan, was to take the word skater back. So when I started using the city skating tag on Instagram, that was mainly a skateboarding thing. I treated it a bit like an experiment, wondering if I could take it back, if it could be ours. And it is actually ours now. City skating is not a skateboarding thing. So you might wonder why I'm still mad at skateboarding, and that's because I keep having these flashes of optimism because of really nice skateboarders I meet. But I've had a lot of issues with really aggressive skateboarders, the groups of skateboarders. I don't like to go into this stuff too much, but I've had to be very confrontational over the years. And as an adult, I resent that. It's bullshit. There's plenty of great individuals in the sport, but the culture as a whole is extremely sick. I would say skateboarding's on its deathbed, and it's the right time to take the word skating back. See, I used to think that skateboarding was coming around and there's just these lone, crusty guys who don't know what's going on, like a Japanese soldier stuck on an island in like 1947 who doesn't know the war's over. But no, there's a serious illness, a sick pathology running through skateboarding, and you're seeing it in the young kids and you're seeing it in the older ones. So yes, we are skaters. They're boarders. They're not skating. They're boarding. Okay, positive things. So in the inline world, I've been taking the time to enjoy a few sources of content. I've been enjoying the Blader Union YouTube channel with Big Homie Biz. They talk all about skating. It's a lot of aggressive skating, but it does go into other areas of skating too. They'll touch on street skaters, city skaters, and I love that. It's not all about the grind. I also have to admit that I love that Big Homie Biz will let himself swear. Thank fuck I'm not the only one. Inline's kind of got a bit of a Mr. Rogers thing going on right now, which is fine for the children. Children are the future. Josh Acosta Blades. That's a channel that I'm really going to hit hard when I'm learning my grinds. Josh Acosta is just such an incredible presence for inline skating. He's so positive and encouraging. And his grinds are just sweet. I prefer his grinds because there's kind of a functional style that looks quite mean and dangerous. Oh, two other incredibly charismatic guys that aren't related to what I'm doing generally are Austin and Billy from Jump Street Podcast. We're going to pump you up in our podcast. So Austin and Billy from Jump Street Podcast have such an amazing show. I think they could podcast about anything. They're incredible interviewers. I wouldn't even say it's interviews. They're having great conversations. These guys are skaters of note in the aggressive world. And that's an understatement. Yeah, enjoy that podcast. The production value is good. The sound is really good. It's quite aggressive heavy, but it's nice to know in depth about another aspect of inline that I don't know about. I still don't know what the hell they're talking about half the time, though. Even though I watched all the hoaxes. Who else do I like? Ooh, Brandon Drummond. He's got really high energy and he's a good presenter, and his episodes move really quickly. I love the pace. Having a news source or somebody who's talking about just inline skating things is so much fun just to turn on and watch while I'm working, or if I'm cutting something visual. If I'm doing audio, I don't watch anything because, yeah, that would be a shit show. Oh, Brandon and I share the same troll, too. I think I'm taking more of the flack, though. Don't worry about it, Brandon. He also doesn't like Aquaman, whatever that guy's name is. And he hates Russell Brand. So we're in just incredible company. Keep doing what you're doing, Drummond. Drummond. Yeah, I know you that well. I'm just going to call you by your surname. Big D. I recently put out videos about assault skating. But I felt I needed to talk about assault skating or differentiate it because there was really no category for people who are beasting it in the city or the towns, villages. The closest. And there's nothing quite like assault skating that's been named. So the assault skating to me was a little more beastly than the flow skating. I think flow skating can be gentle, it can be concussive, it can be a little bit tricky. You could do a backward flow skate, that'd be fine. I like how people have responded to assault skating because I have a few friends that are out there doing it right now. Rich Hayter from Scotland is definitely an assault skater. I was talking about things I like. Adapt. So my recent announcement that I'm an Adapt ambassador is very exciting for me. I've had this pride recently, or for years actually, of being proud of representing Adapt. It was just the obvious choice for me. As far as the consistency of the enclosure, there was no other skate. The feel of it on my foot, there was no other skate. How I feel in the cuff, yet again, no other skate. Putting it on and lacing it up is just so enjoyable. It's so simple. So Pro Skaters Place hooked me up with Adapt Skate in the first place, and I've been dealing with Pro Skaters Place for many years. Almost every single pair of skates I own are from Pro Skaters Place. And they're headed in an extremely positive direction. They've got this great big new store with all sorts of room to skate inside. There's a parking lot outside. I don't know if they're officially using it, but I am. And I'll definitely be spending some time there when we're allowed to. There's going to be things like VOD parties with music, some lessons. I'll be teaching lessons for motivated skaters. They've also got skateboards, electric scooters, skis. Skiing was supposed to be a thing for me this year, but yeah. You know what I'm saying. Next year. When I was heading out today, I knew I had a theme in mind, and I was really feeling that theme deeply. And that theme was, we are so lucky. So in these times when only millionaires are allowed to play in well-protected stadiums, and everybody else can't go to the gym, they can't play their sport, I find myself feeling like the richest man in the world. The person I know with the greatest degree of freedom and the most to do in lockdown. That might change, but I think we've made it through the worst. I really don't know what I would have done if there was a curfew. I believe in obeying the health officials, but I don't believe in measures that create a greater density of foot traffic on the sidewalks in a shorter period. It's a dangerous move. Like when the stores here had reduced hours, it was just throngs of people trying to get in those very specific hours. But yeah, do I really want to go into the COVID stuff here? Just gotta bail out. I've always felt this sense of good fortune that I know this secret, and I have this feeling that other people don't. I almost feel like I've been greedy or it's dirty. That other people don't know about this, like I'm getting away with something. It doesn't make it more special to me that a small number of people are doing it. It makes it more special to me if the people I know and love are doing it. If I see strangers laughing and smiling all the time because they're skating. I don't want us to remain a tiny subgenre, and I'm so excited that inline skating is growing. I'm seeing it much more around my neighborhoods, and I'm seeing better skaters too. And I think in the spring, when people are allowed to go out, we're going to see a lot of skates. I'm definitely going to be organizing a group skate at some point. I don't want a super spreader event, but I think probably through the summer it's going to be pretty good. I'd like to do a skate that could have beginners and advanced people in the same group. Something where we meet down in the Bentway and wind up at Trinity Bellwoods Park. Lounging under a tree enjoying beverages. Something like that. Inline skating is the thing that kept me entirely sane during this whole lockdown thing. And it's done that in many periods of my life. During the good times and the bad times, inline skating has made me better. It's my bitch be gone. Yeah, I'm gonna have to end this little flowcast. It didn't even talk about the skating. I'm really sorry about that. I just didn't feel like looking at the screen and commentating. Sometimes the action doesn't really need commentary. Though it would be fun if somebody else did. So if you want to talk about the skating, go into the comments below. I will be heavily engaged in the comments on this one. I like talking to you guys. So I really hope the weather in your area is giving you the chance to get out there on skates. And if you have a half decent day, just take it. Take every single good day you can get. If there's one thing we've learned through this whole crisis, it's that life changes. You have to take the opportunities and love the things that love you back whenever you can. Thanks, guys. It's been nice chatting to you. Stay low.